ruins the Time Crisis release, Arcade1up is making a claw machine, and why I think the home arcade's future is bright. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, episode 114 of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened this week in home arcades. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? How's your weekend going? How was last week? How was this week? How was next week? We still don't know exactly where we are. We're in the land between weeks. What's in my glass? Well, let me tell you what's in my glass. We're back to, we finished off the Basil Hayden toast. We're back into the Jeffersons. Kind of a weird situation I ran into this weekend. I think it was Friday when I went out and got the new bottles in preparation for today. And they were rearranging everything up at the Kroger, the place that I buy all my bourbon, and everything was just all out of sorts. So I just kind of grabbed the go-to, the old reliable, the old standby Jeffersons, and I thought I'd try something a little bit more exotic next week if they got all their stuff together. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. Let's go ahead and raise a glass real quick. To the end of another week and the welcoming of a new week. There's one thing I want to make a correction. Last week, somebody said something about Hillary, blaming Hillary for the situation they were in. I didn't realize, because I'm, a bit of a buffoon at times, that was a hurricane that was actually headed barreling towards California. I hope that everybody made it through that okay. I hope that there was you're not suffering any kind of negative ramifications. It didn't hit your area. Hopefully it just, just breezed on by you. So, thoughts, prayers go out to everybody that's in the middle of some odd times. This is kind of the end of the summer, right? It's wrapping up. So you get some weird weather events. We also had a helicopter crash in Australia that took claimed the lives of some Marines, and a lot of other Marines are injured. So, prayers going out to, it was a training exercise in collaboration with the Australian Special Forces there. So, it's unfortunate to hear, but that stuff is, it's happening. It's a big world, and there's lots of possibilities of things to go wrong. So we got to, just want to keep those people in our thoughts and our prayers. It's a horrible tragedy. It's really bad. Just kind of read that before I came on, and I wanted to bring that up. It's a damn shame. War is one thing, but a training exercise, man, it's just really just heartbreaking and just horrible and so incredibly unnecessary. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. You have to kind of add some levity. Not really, no. But let's move past that. Let's talk about everybody in the chat. We're going to say hi to you in just a second. Thank you so much for being here for episode 114. It's really awesome. So glad to see everybody coming by every Sunday and hanging out with me. But we got to talk about something else, something we do every single week. There is a question. There is a poll in the chat. This one is very specific to the big outrage this week. The outrage we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show. It's a simple question that I'm posing this week, and it's this: what is the most you would pay for your favorite game? So whatever your favorite arcade game is, maybe they've already made it, maybe they haven't made it yet. What is the most you would pay for your favorite your game done by Arcade1up in a 3/4 scale cabinet? So 17-inch monitor. Looking back at what they've done, what we know they have coming down the pipe this year, their best offerings. If they took their best swing at your favorite game in a 3/4 scale cabinet, what's the most you would pay for that? So you got 4 options. I didn't do $0. I thought that wasn't really fair. I think that if they made your favorite game, you would buy it. The question is, how much would you pay for it? So the most, what is the most you would pay? We're starting with that $7.99 price tag. What would you pay up to that price? $6.99, $5.99, and $4.99. Obviously, this pricing is plus tax, and but we're going to assume that there's free shipping. So there might be tax included, but retail pricing. That's what, if that pops up and it's your favorite game and it's 3/4 scale, would you pay? What would you pay? What's the most you would pay? So let me know. Got 37 votes so far, and so far it's about the way it's almost exactly what I thought, but some of you surprised me. Some of you are freaking out, but I understand. Those are probably the people that haven't seen their game made yet. So we'll talk about those results a little bit later in the poll. Make sure you let your voice be heard. I'm sorry, it's 87 votes, not 37 votes. 87 votes so far. Very good. Jump in there. Let me know. Am I making too much out of this Time Crisis deal with this $7.49? That's kind of what my point is, right? What's the most that anybody would pay for their favorite game in that 3/4 scale form factor? I think it's a big topic. I think it's something, hopefully Arcade1up is asking themselves that question. Hopefully every home arcade manufacturer is asking themselves that question. What's the most we can actually expect people to pay for something in this size? I don't care how good you do it. What's reasonable, or are they just going to keep raising the price and seeing what happens, until somebody barks and somebody freaks out? Maybe the time is here. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's talk about something else that's a little more positive, like everybody in the chat, all you great people that have stopped by early. As soon as I post, it's a little bit of a contest we have going on every week. Who can comment first? And of course, to comment, you have to be a subscriber of this channel. So make sure you go ahead and smash that like button. So if you like what you see, check out the other videos on the channel and hit the subscribe button. Be part of the conversation. You can vote in the polls. You can have a lot of fun with us. Well, at least I hope it's a lot of fun. I'm having a ton of fun. And the first one having fun with us, the first comment of the night, at 12:34 p.m. I was a little bit late getting the live stream up, so that's really good. Actually, I think you're about 30 minutes off. I think I put it up right around noon. Beach Native 78, thank you so much. Always in the chat, always supporting the channel. So great to see you. What up, Foxy and chat? I can't believe you've known about Time Crisis the whole time. You played it off well, sir. But I'd only pay $7.50 if it was an XL. Stoked for tonight's stream. #FoxNation. I didn't know about it the whole time. Just to be fair, I didn't know about it the whole time. There were a few other people that knew about it a little bit longer than I did. But listen, I think we all knew about it pretty early on, right? Those Time Crisis, those leaks, those GameFly leaks that included Time Crisis came to us a long time ago. We all pretty much, as we saw everything else come out, we knew this thing was going to come out eventually. But yeah, I had to sit on that information for a while, a little bit. And I got to be part of the unboxing, which was really cool. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Until I found out about the price, which is something I didn't find out. I had no idea. I didn't know about the price until we all found out together on that Arcade1up update. What an update it was. Known. Yes, exactly. Kevin Clausen's at the house saying 19K Fox is your number one source for news, fair and balanced. I try to be. I definitely, that's definitely the focus for sure. Beach Native again saying thanks, Kevin Clausen. Just perfect timing, I guess. Exactly. Congrats on being number one. It's something to be celebrated for sure. The number one is the coveted spot, the number one comment on the 19K Fox This Week show. But you know what else is something coveted and special? A super chat. This one is $10 from Kevin Clausen. Thank you so much for your super chat. Really do appreciate it. That's true, Beach Native 78. And nothing can be more perfect than another $10 super. I love it when you include your own segues. I got to just start reading your super chats without my own segue, because now you're including your segue, and they're just, the transitions are wonderful. They couldn't be any better. Congrats, Fox, on show 114. If you've never had these Michael B. Rumor hangover, yes, exactly. These Michael B. rumored hangovers, okay? We would be at 2. Oh, I see. You're blaming my hangovers on the fact that I'm lacking in shows. It's the hangovers don't happen that often. I'm sorry, the rumored hangovers. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat. You were the first person in the queue here, the first person to super chat. You know what that means? You are going to have to go somewhere, and it's not pleasant. It's the pit.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Jason, Little Alien is in the house saying, hey, Fox, catch you guys tonight. Don't start on that bourbon too early now. I am never going to live that down. Okay, I was actually sick, but bourbon could have been a contributing factor for sure. Shannon Zahn is in the house saying, hey, Fox, looking forward to this one. The quality of those guns is so cheap. It is a disgrace to charge customers $750 for those guns and a 17-inch screen. It's greed and a total miscalculation. Bold statement, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. That's a bold strategy and a bold comment for sure. Gotham City Arcade is in the house. My brother, thank you so much for stopping by. Always supporting the channel as well. Hey, Battle, when do you think would be the best time to buy a Time Crisis? It seems that every content creator is saying don't buy it because of cheap ass guns. $750, not including tax, is too much. If you think it's too much, I think that you're not going to have to wait that long. I think that there could seriously be a price drop as soon as the other manufacturers get involved. We'll talk about this a little bit later. There could be a price change when the other manufacturer, or when the other retailers get involved, like Best Buy, Walmart. Those prices will come down. Now, it is $750, no tax included. So that's if you factor in a $700 cabinet from Best Buy, you're about $8 off, right? They're sticking you for an additional $8 roughly, depending on the sales tax in your area. So I think wait. And we're going to talk about some of the reasons why it's very important to wait if you don't love the price. We're going to talk about some of those reasons later on. But bottom line, just wait. You don't have to have this right now. It's not like it's a PlayStation and there's a whole bunch of games coming out for it and you need to buy the PlayStation so you can play the games. That's not the case. Just wait. Just wait and buy whenever you're comfortable. Whenever they've reached the price point that you're comfortable with, buy then. But I don't think you're going to have to wait too long. I don't think you have to wait too long. David G is in the house saying, looking forward to this one. Thank you so much for looking forward to this one. Dan Z is in the house, buddy. How you doing? I hope you're feeling good. Hope the procedure went well. And come on. Get back on the horse, brother. Get back on the horse. I know you want to get back home and give those arcade machines, give your entire arcade the attention it deserves for sure. Sold for sales in the house. 19K Fox is cool and everything, but he isn't the Rector Show. Well, thank God for that. JJ is in the house saying, can't believe the brain fart by Arcade1up on the Time Crisis pricing. I suspect we'll see it on sale sooner rather than later. A physical claw machine would be a hit. So could Whack-A-Mole, but virtual. Nah. It says a lot to discuss when we talk about some of the other stuff that they could be working on behind the scenes. Mad scientists? Perhaps. Marion Cobretti Kai, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Good evening, Fox. Time Crisis is a very nice cab. I would agree with that statement, but I'm going to be patient. I'm more excited and focused on the Cleveland Classic because I heard from a very reliable source that Cleveland rocks. That's what I heard anyway. Video Game Vegas, what's going on, brother? 19K, the Fox. K-Fox. So it was K-Fox 95 was a radio station in the city that I was, or in the city that was in the city, the town that I grew up in was so small, we didn't have a radio station. So the biggest city closest to us had a radio station, and it was K-Fox 95, and they played, alternative. So that's, I just think about it when there's that space, the Fox, I think about it that way. 19K, the Fox. Though the cheap recoil and 17-inch screen on the Time Crisis got me down, for me, given the precious space a cab takes up in my already full arcade, 4 games just don't cut it. Not for $749. That's another thing to consider. They have to realize the point in time we are in now, the Time Crisis we were in. You like that? See the pun? This is not the beginning of the hobby. This is many years into the hobby, 4 years into the hobby at this point. There's a lot of cabinets out there. Most of our arcades are pretty much, they could be at capacity. And so each one, price is a big factor. The design and the look is going to be a big factor. The games obviously are a big factor. The number of games. I mean, we have a lot more requirements now. It's not just grab it because I got to have it and I have a room that's empty. Most of us have rooms that are full. So definitely a good point for sure. Great point to be made. And also, listen, another great point to be made, another great comment to be had, another great chat to be had is super. Like this super chat, $5 in honor of Bob Barker. Let's just say the price is wrong. Yeah. In honor of Bob Barker's passing. Definitely a huge, pop culture icon. I mean, the movies he was in, he was involved in wrestling. He was obviously the face of The Price is Right forever. So definitely, absolutely. Big shout out. And let's lift our glasses to the Bob Barker. The only man to take it to Happy Gilmore. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Really do appreciate it, buddy. Here you go. Perfect. Game Broker 84. What's going on, buddy? Hi, Fox. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Right back at you. Really wanted to buy another Arcade1up cab, but nothing has got my attention. In your opinion, do you think they will offer an XL Miss Pac-Man or an XL TMNT? Those would be day one buys. I think this year you're going to see a XL Pac-Man. We've already seen that one leak. I think that's the rumored XL. I think that's the one XL that we heard about all those months ago when they said there was going to be one come out this year. I think you're going to see an XL Pac-Man this year, which means that you will absolutely see an XL Miss Pac-Man next year. Next year, listen, I'm with you. I feel you. I think next year's going to be the year to spend some money. So maybe this is the year you just wait. Maybe this is the year you just hold off. I mean, we've got 2 new cabs this year. I don't see much going on. I think the rest of the year is pretty much going to be dead. So maybe if you don't like what you see or you don't like it at the price that they have it now, just wait. No need to buy, no need to rush, wait till the end of the year when hopefully we'll get some more rumors, some speculation, some more leaks maybe. And then, who knows? It could open up all your options. And then all of a sudden you'll have a completely different problem. You won't have enough money to buy all the stuff you want. So that's my 2 cents, buddy. A Tran fanatic is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Great to see you. Hey, Fox, I put a Metal Flex fan on last night. MacGyver style on the Z. Nice. It for sure takes longer to get hot while idling. So an improvement, no doubt, would be going back to my former job early September. Or you should be going back to your job early September. I think that's probably a good thing, right? You didn't really want to leave, and now hopefully they're gonna, maybe it was just a layoff issue, and maybe work is fired back up, the demand is higher, and they got to have you back. I know you're probably excited to get the job search kind of wasn't going well for you. The cars have been causing you problems, and so it looks like you're knocking it out, buddy. And maybe the end of the year is going to be great for you. September, it's a great month. Absolutely great month to go back to work. So congratulations. Best of luck on the car. Best of luck on the car. I know that's going to be a problem for you for a while until you can kind of get that figured out. But at least you're running just a little bit cooler. Boo 2 and Duck says, "Hey Fox, my dumb self will have to have the time crisis." No. You're not dumb. Buy what you want to buy. Okay. If you want to buy this thing day one, it's fine. You're not dumb. I'm just talking about all the reasons why I had the opinion that I have, but I'm not judging nobody. Buy what you want to buy, man. My dumb self will have Time Crisis cab arrive today. If you thought you're Nazi. Best of luck to you just dealing with those prices. If you thought the U.S. price was wild, hold my beer, equivalent to 1,200 USD. Oh man, listen. I don't know why our Australian friends and our UK friends suffer in the way that they do. It's a travesty. It's wrong. And your governments, they're just ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous. These taxes are just insane. Something has to be done. Maybe a revolution, or maybe just, I don't know, write your congressman or whatever you have down there. maybe Arcade1up isn't the number one reason to revolt, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But man, listen, end of the day, I'm glad you got the cab you wanted. Jason is in the house saying, "Oh, you're gonna come in, you're gonna sing my song, aren't you, buddy? Where's the afterburner? Off-road, road blaster, smash TV cabs. If Arcade1up wants my 750, then make those. XL cabs get my attention as well. Absolutely. To me, it's almost like a no-brainer. Just remake some of the same cabs you've made in an XL form factor. I don't know. To me, they're just leaving money on the table for sure." Jay is in the house saying, "I don't think it's justified to cost more than the state of an art console, PS5, Xbox Series X. So I'm going to lowball it and say $499. That's fine. Listen, I want your honest opinion. Also, I don't have any more room for cabs in my place. That's the thing. So it's got to be more than just another cab, right? The new cab. The bad guy, Mike Worley, at this point, choosing to embrace the bad when you could just embrace the light. It's up to you, buddy. Remain bad." It's kind of a cool name, though, for sure. What's up, Fox? I'm not really surprised at the high price of Time Crisis, but I am disappointed. Yeah, I think a lot of people have expressed that same sentiment, man. I hear you. The cabinet looks really good, but part of me was hoping they would have priced it at a fair amount. It does look good. I think that's the struggle. It does look good, but there's really nothing new under the hood. Nothing new under the hood. So you know what? Let me go ahead and Gallagher Guy 88 is in the house. Before I read your comment, I must find you over here on the YouTube page. Where'd you go? Because you made a request. You made a request to be knighted, to be dubbed a moderator, a wrench on my channel, and I shall grant thee, if I can find thee. I'm using Bible speak. There we go. Ask and you shall receive. You have been added as a moderator. You can do this, you can do that, and save. Congratulations. Enjoy thine wrench. You've earned it. Of course, it comes with a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of goofballs in the chat. But listen, don't be too strict. Don't use your power. Wield your power sparingly. We allow conversation here, as long as they don't, make fun of AVP. What the hell? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't read your comment. Sorry. Hello, Fox. Got a new got a new multi-game and played Alien vs. Predator for the first time. That game is too sweet. I am officially addicted. It is an incredible. Listen, okay, all right. Alien vs. Predator is an incredible. If I'm a beat 'em up fan anyway, okay. So right off the bat, beat 'em up checks. Alien and Predator were huge franchises in the mid to late 80s, right? So that's huge. That's when I grew up. So boom, right there. The combat is great. Capcom sprites, that CPS2 art style is great. The combat for each individual character, the 4 playable characters, are very different. Especially Lieutenant Kurosawa, I think is how you say her last name. When she drops her sword, she goes nuts with the hand-to-hand combat, and she can jump back and forth between enemies. So she can jump on this alien, kick them, fly over to this one, go back and forth. There's a lot of variety there. And of course, you got Arnold, Dutch is in there with the robot arm. Well, I mean, come on. He's Arnold with a robot arm. It doesn't get any better than that. But it's absolutely a fun game for sure. And I'm glad you had a chance to play it. I'm glad you like it, man. It's pretty awesome. Soul Red is in the house saying, I had some family visit over the weekend, and the Casino-cade I added to my game room was a hit. Well, I'm glad it was. Listen, it wasn't for me, but I'm glad that it was. I'm glad that it was a hit. I'm glad that you don't. Here's what I'm glad for. I'm glad that you don't feel slighted by that purchase. I'm glad it was a hit, and you feel good about the money you spent. So that's what I'm happy about. Not so happy about the Casino-cade in general. It's just not for me. But listen, this isn't about me. This is about the community, and everybody's got different wants and different needs. Carl O is in the house saying, "Hey Fox and chat, Blitz for $2.99 at Ollie's, $7.50 for Time Crisis." No way. Actually, there was an Ollie's. I saw this on one of the Facebook groups. There's an Ollie's up in Cincinnati that still had 3 left today at $2.99. NFL Blitz. I've already got one. I've still got the original one from last year. But damn, that's a hell of a price. That's really not bad at all. So yeah, check that out for sure. Awesome. Carlos Sanchez says, "What's up, brother? I'm ready for this show. I'm glad you're ready. Buckle up." Could get bumpy. Could be a bumpy ride. Saying Spirits is in the house. My brother, my Kamehameha brother, saying, buying this at $7.50 will set a bad precedent. We'll talk about that. I think you got a good point there. I think you got a good point. Harblow is in the house. Harblow? Good to see you, man. Class of 81 is the only good-looking deluxe cab, so I'd be interested to see it in an XL. The weird thing about Class of 81 is great. You said that, and I thought about the Galaga cab, the Galaga Deluxe. And while I know it's arcade accurate, the sticker, the decal on the bottom, I know it's accurate to the arcade. I get it. But because it's weird. Because we used to have risers on these cabs, that decal looks like the cabs on a riser, which wouldn't have been a problem if we didn't have risers in the past. So it's kind of weird. So I know it's arcade accurate, but it's just weird. So yeah, the only thing I think Galaga looks good, but it's just that that threw me off. And there were comments on my comment saying, "Fox, that's accurate." I know it's accurate, but it's just weird. It's like a problem that, like I said, we wouldn't have had if we didn't previously have risers to begin with. Class of 81 does look really good. XL is going to be the thing, Harblow. I'm telling you. XL is the thing that's causing everybody to maybe I'll just wait. If I see something cool, what if they make an XL? I'm going to be kicking myself next year. And at the prices they're offering these cabinets, XL pricing could be the same, which is just weird. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Thank you so much for commenting, buddy. Really appreciate it. CG7060 is in the house saying, any Unico 26 thoughts, I'm sending mine back. You sending yours back. So I haven't made a video yet. You can see it. Obviously, that's not a CRT because, you'd see something like that, right? That's not a CRT. That is my 26-inch Unico monitor. It is installed. I haven't done a video yet because I've got a potential issue. But remember, that cabinet was converted to a flat screen. So I'm running that stupid adapter that takes the original signal, the CGA signal. They cut off that adapter and, plugged in this other one. So I'm waiting for an original CGA adapter that I can wire back up, plug right into the monitor, and see what that gives me. And if that works out like I think it is, everything's going to be good. There's a lot to like about it. But right now, the problem I'm having, it looks like it's the monitor is 4.3. And it looks like the image is 5.4. So it's not fitting. It's not fitting on the monitor, but it's not exactly 5.4 because the width is all perfect, right? So it's not wide. The width is not the issue. It's definitely the height for sure. So it's just something's off. And I think it's probably just the other converter board that really shouldn't be there anyway, because I'm not going to need that. I have a CGA. That monitor has a CGA connection. So anyway, that's why I haven't made the video yet. I haven't forgot about you. I just got to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row, all the information, before I put that video together for sure. So scrolling down here real quick. Andy's in the house saying, "Good evening, all." Random One says, "It is Fox 30. What's going on, buddy? It is. It's Fox 30 or Fox O'clock. maybe. Endless One Up, brother. You're in the house. Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a little bit, man. Good to see you. With real arcades costing about the same price, it really has me questioning the whole thing, but I don't know. It is weird. Now, I've always thought that one of the big things that Arcade1ups have over, the big arcades is the price. But even as that price creeped up, you're still talking about something that's lighter, it's smaller, it's easier to move around your house. You don't have a CRT to contend with. You've got a little LCD. So I think even though the price has creeped up, I still was not going to be the one to compare the two, because it's not apples to apples, right? An original arcade you're buying for, the nostalgia of it, the original rugged industrial construction. You're kind of paying for that. And with these Arcade1ups, they're smaller, lighter. You get more games. There's a ton of benefits there. A ton of benefits for the Arcade1up, but it's becoming more of an issue now. Not so much just the price, Endless, but the availability of titles. I'm going back to original arcades. If you notice, if you look at these titles behind me, these are titles that I know they're not going to make, because I just haven't seen them move in those directions. Are they going to make Die Hard? Are they going to make we know they can't even get the cruising games. So that's why I went back to that well and thought, well, maybe I'll just buy an original, and upgrade it. So it's becoming price. Yeah. But I think that's secondary to just availability of titles. I'm going back to the well and getting the titles that I know I'm not going to get in an Arcade1up. If Arcade1up made it, I would probably settle for that version. Perfect example, T2. I still have my T2 cabinet. I enjoy it. I have had opportunities to buy an original T2, and I think that I can just make do and be happy with what I have in the Arcade1up. I just think that I can. So I don't feel the need to really get a big arcade. Form factor is a big issue too. Driving cabs, you just can't beat them in the original form factor, in the original design. They're rugged, they're big, they're comfortable, big, heavy-duty shifters and all that. Arcade1up would have a tough time trying to replicate that. The seated position of their drivers just never cut it for me at all. Frank D's in the house saying, I don't know much. I don't know how much I'd pay, honestly. So I'm abstaining from voting. Well, that's okay. That's fine. If you don't know, listen, don't vote. If you don't see a price point that makes sense for you, you don't have to vote in the poll. At this point, I don't feel like the value is there for me, but I understand they need to make money. So yeah, but the question is, if they made your game, if they found whatever your game was, your favorite game, if they made it in the 3/4 scale, how much do you think is fair for one of their cabinets in the game that you want in 3/4 scale? If it's only 500, put 500, understanding what the value is that they would bring, understanding what they do, right? Because they kind of just do the same thing over and over again, right? Hey, Bob, how you doing? Great to see you, buddy. Hi, all. Hope all is well. It is well. I hope all is well with you too as well. We have been dealing with it as always. Hi, all. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for stopping by. Scrolling down, I know I need to kind of get going here just a little bit. Naoto Ronin says, "Sup, Fox? Been a while. Hope all is well with you." I am doing well. I hope you're doing well. I'm very, very glad to have you back, buddy. Hopefully your summer is going well and it's winding down. Sir Sega's in the house. Where the hell am I? You're home, where you should be. I'm glad to see you, buddy. Glad to see you here. Let's go ahead and the Garage Gamers in the house saying, "What up, guys? Good to see you. How you doing, Bozo, my brother? How you doing, man? Hi, AKA." Hi, AKA at 19K Fox. Great seeing you once again, and cheers. Cheers indeed to you, sir. Miss Harris is in the house. Janine, how are you? 749 is for House of the Dead, but not Time Crisis. Exactly. See? Some people are like, yeah, if you make your cabinet in my game, I'll pay that high price, but I'm not just going to do it for anything. I don't get out of bed for just anything, but I do get out of bed for some. Mike Hawkhurst is in the house saying, "Hey, 19K Fox, I hope we discuss Peasant Buck Hunter tonight, aka the most Fisher Price looking device Arcade1up have done since the baby cades. There's no reason to sell that cabinet. None." Michael B is in the house saying, "How did Creed ruin Time Crisis? Is arm wide open one of the tracks in the game?" He's Canadian. They have trouble with the reading and whatnot. I love Creed. Creed couldn't ruin anything. Creed is great. I mean, well, Creed is Creed's okay. MSU Rich saying, good evening, everyone. How the hell are you for sure? So scrolling down. I want to say hi to everybody. Miss Cornucate is in the house. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Great to see you. Nooner's in the house. What's going on, brother? My week starts tonight. The life of an aircraft manipulator. Manipulator. You are an aircraft manipulator. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your manipulation. And yeah, sorry your week starts on Sunday. But you know what? Mine ends on Sunday because I just make up my own rules, I guess. But that's a benefit of having your own show, having your own channel, naming stuff whatever you want to name it. It's great. It's a wonderful thing. Almost as good as a super chat. This one is $2. Comes to us from Cobretti Kai. $7.99 equals championship sprint, super sprint, Badlands. Not too shabby. That'd be a hell of a cabin. And the price, not too shabby.
Finish him. Scorpion wins. Fatality.
Sean's Retro Arcade says, yes, you are making too much of it. That's fair. That's fair. Zero Redux says $4.99. Stand your ground, chat. See, you have a variety of differences here. You have some people like, just relax, Fox. Who cares? $7.49 is fine. Others are like, no, I shall not budge. Hold. I think P-Dubs actually said that. He had a line in his sand too, $4.99. But what can you do? The thing about the lines in the sand, you can just kind of cover those up and then make new ones. It's great. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Almost as wonderful as a super chat. This one is $5. Coming to us from Gallica Guy 88 saying, play that pinball vid. Sorry, wrong channel. Let's kill Haley Queen. Yes, no pinball money. Not for this guy. Not yet, but there is a queen that needs some killing. Let's take it out. G.I. Joel is in the house. Great streaming with you the other day, buddy. And yeah, great to meet you. Awesome. Great to meet you. Great to get a face with the YouTube handle. It's awesome. Almost as awesome as a $5 super chat. $4.99 coming to us from Kevin Freer? Mr. Kevin. Thank you so much for your $4.99 super chat. All the coverage on Time Crisis actually has me wanting to get a T2. Only one game, but it looks like it's more fun. Plus, I like the mod possibilities. You should like the price too, not the current price. I think the current price is back up to the $6.99, but just wait. That thing, it just ride the wave. Eventually, the price will come down pretty sharply, and you'll see $200-$300 sales on that one all day long. You might even be able to pick it up secondhand, but be patient, and go ahead and pick yourself up a new one. And just, the sales, I'm telling you, getting closer to the holidays, expect a lot of these cabs to go back on sale. And yeah, actually T2 is pretty damn fun. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat or your $5 super chat, buddy. Really do appreciate it. Got to bring up something for you a little bit special. Here you go. Excellent advice to be given from my good brother, my good friend, Snowdub, saying, listen, people, smash the like button. It's the right thing to do. Helps out the channel, helps out the algorithm, all that good stuff. Definitely appreciate it so much. Let me keep scrolling down that I get most of you. Tammy G says, hi, Jason. Don't say hi to me. That's fine. No, I'm just kidding. Just joking. Good to see you, Tammy G. Stupid Fat Hobbit. Once again, come on, buddy. Body positivity is what you need to work on for sure. No 80s title other than Afterburner or Off-Road should be more than $500. Any 90s cab between $600 and $650 is fair. It's fair. The difficulty definitely kind of comes in the emulation for sure, doesn't it? Thank you so much for that. And let's see who. Happy Funny Gaming. Sorry, I left off the Y. Kind of like my last name for sure. Would Time Crisis complete my 90s arcade room? That's a whole different calculus, isn't it? If that would complete something, if you've got a certain picture that you've painted and this is the final piece, I guess that's a puzzle. That's not a picture. Yeah, maybe that would move the needle for you as well. You know what moves the needle for me? A $4.99 super chat. This one from Making Circles, $4.99. Thank you so much for your super chat, buddy. What's up, Fox? Would you pay $7.99 for a Nintendo licensed cab? What about Donkey Kong, Popeye, and Mario Brothers? If there was okay, this is going to be part of the end of the show, but let's go ahead and answer this right now because you paid your money, you deserve an answer, and you're going to get it. I think if Nintendo enters the market and gives me a 3/4 scale offering, and it's those titles, probably, yeah. I think Nintendo quality is pretty much off the charts. I don't think, honestly, that they would allow anybody else to handle their properties. I think they would just decide themselves to make it. And if Nintendo themselves made it and it had those games, or if it had the ability to download a certain list of titles, I think they could do that. I think you could have, because that was the play choice model, right? You could just put games in there. You could just add games to it, Yeah. Yeah, I mean, probably, yeah, because I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker, and that's okay. I'm among friends. Okay, so we talked about the poll question. How much would you pay for your favorite cab? Make sure you jump up there and vote in that poll. I really want to know where everybody's at. Kind of make some sense out of my madness. Am I making too much out of this Time Crisis cabinet? Some of you in the poll in the chat already think that I am. How much would you pay for your favorite game in a 3/4 scale cabinet made by Arcade1up? So we talked about that. We talked about what's in the glass. And it is delicious. But now we got to go ahead and talk about and jump into the first topic. Let's just get right into it. Time Crisis greed, the greedy corporate greed. That's just destroyed the Time Crisis. Well, not Creed. Creed can do no wrong, but greed has destroyed it. It ruined it. Or am I making a little bit too much out of it? So for those of you that maybe you've been kind of living under a rock as far as, what's going on with all this Time Crisis garbage, the cabinet itself, I think, has been received pretty well. I think for the most part, if you look at the images, if you look at the way the cabinet looks, you've seen the teardowns, or you've seen the assembly process right now, you've seen the gun teardown, you've seen a lot. I think there's a lot of great things that you can say about this cabinet. As far as an Arcade1up interpretation, it's not bad. It's not bad. You are still stuck with the 17-inch monitor, but for the most part, it's not bad. The bad thing really came in at the price tag of $749. There you go. And not only the fact that it's $749, but there's only one place you can get it. And that's not good. And it's not good for a couple different ways or a couple different reasons. So $749, ShopHippo. Now, ShopHippo is an online retailer, so you don't have to go drive down to your local Hippo. You don't have to physically go there. You can go online. You can order these things, free shipping, and actually no tax. So that's not really the limiting factor. Some of that is the retailers that you're kind of in bed with, right? You're in bed with, I'm in bed with. We get these. I personally redeem some gift cards. Maybe you have some gift cards left over from your birthday or Christmas or whatever, and you do that all year. You take advantage of that, when you can, in preparation for the cab that's coming out that you want to buy, right? So we know, okay, our budget allows for, let's say you can only afford like 2 cabs or even 1 cab. There's only 1 cab you can buy all year because, I don't know, you got family, you got bills, you got all the other stuff. So you're saving up for that 1 cab. Time Crisis comes out. You're super excited about it. It's the 1 cab you've been waiting for. And one of the ways that you save for this, as you get your Walmart gift cards or your Best Buy gift cards, that's a great way to save $25, $50, $100, $200, whatever, and it comes to ShopHippo. Well, that's a little bit disappointing, but the price is high. Listen, I don't care what you say. I don't care how you feel. The price is higher than other cabinets in this segment. And the question came up. I was actually on the live stream with B this weekend on Saturday with the Michael B, and we were kind of helping him kick off the launch party, I guess, for Time Crisis. And they were having a good time on location. We were talking, and Michael B asked me the question, why do you think people thought it was going to be cheaper? Why do you think people thought it was going to be cheaper? And at the time, I didn't necessarily think that everybody thought it was going to be $500, but I think that the price was a bit of a shock. And then as you think about it a little bit more and you look at what was happening this year, well, the trending, I mean, all the prices were actually trending down when you think about it. So let's take a look at the releases this year. talking about rolling into this year. There wasn't a lot going on, but one of the first things we got hit with was a new form factor called the Deluxe, right? This was basically legacy cabinets that did not have risers. Now, I thought for sure it was going to be more expensive. Well, it turns out it actually wasn't. It wasn't more expensive. $500 is what they were. Well, that was great. I mean, it was the same games list. The upper part of the cabinet was the same, but there was no riser. And, it's a new form factor. You think they're going to hit you with something different. The coin door, instead of just having Arcade1up written in black, it was actually in chrome. So there was a little bit of a difference, not a ton. But I thought for sure they would say that, new form factor and this, we're going to hit you with more money. Well, they didn't. They didn't do that. So right off the bat, we had those initial 3 cabinets come out. They were deluxes. They were $499. Okay, that's really not bad. Then they came out with another deluxe, and I'm calling this deluxe with an asterisk because this is a deluxe, but it was also a completely new form factor. The side panels were different, and they had that bump out on the front. And of course, I'm talking about the most recent deluxe. Well, not the most recent, but one of the releases, one of the deluxes that was announced recently, and that was the Capcom Legacy Deluxe. It was a Dynamo-inspired cabinet. HS5 is what they're calling it. And it was a completely different shape. Now, at this point, I thought, well, maybe they're going to add $50 to this because it's something completely new. And especially when you consider the fact that middle part, that front part of the control panel that kind of bumps out, that's this custom plastic piece that they had to make that they'd never made before. But this came out at $499. So, okay, so here's your expectations, right? You're kind of managing your expectations, trying to figure out where the company's going. You see a deluxe for $500. Okay, it's not bad. You see a deluxe with a completely different shape, and that's $499. Okay, that's not bad. But then we had some other offerings. Now, I'm going to call this the Deluxe 2 because this is a radically brand new, different shape altogether. Okay, this is a completely different size and shape and scope and all that stuff, right? But we also had some things that were carried over. Of course, I'm talking about the first one was the Fast and Furious cabinet. I'm going to call this the Deluxe 2 because it was a deluxe cabinet, but it was a completely different shape, right? They were doing some things different, and they were doing some things that were very much the same. So let's talk about the normal stuff, the stuff we'd seen before. The steering wheel was not radically different in any way, shape, or form. There was nothing crazy going on there. The marquee was a step back. It was a step back to the older style, the 3rd gen, the 4th gen type stuff before we had all these other great iterations. Like, I think the first one that kind of kicked all that off was Terminator 2 with that slide-in marquee, the way that it should be. So that was a regression. But the shifter was definitely, and I got to tell you, I said this in my review, the shifter was a pleasant surprise. The shifter was actually a positive lock shifter. You had 4 different gears. That was really cool. I thought that was nice. Everything else was pretty much the same, but it was a deluxe cabinet, the first driver, and it was only $100 more. I say only, but honestly, when you think about it, when you think about the pricing of everything else, $599 really wasn't that bad. It was so not bad that I bought 2 of them. I did quickly sell those because of the thing that they didn't tell us, the fact that the game really wasn't an arcade ROM at all. But you can see they're not pricing this stuff wildly so far. Then we had another deluxe come out, and this is just a regular deluxe because this was based on an original shape and original style. This was similar to, the deluxe legacies that we saw, and it was $599. So while it, wasn't $500, like maybe it could have been or should have been, especially when you consider that marquee, it was only $100 more. So you can kind of see the separation. Deluxe moving forward is kind of taking hold. It's kind of taking the place of everything. No more risers, right? There is some cost savings for Arcade1up. They don't have this big box. They have a smaller box, so because there's less packing material. So they're doing some savings. And it seems like they were kind of passing on the savings to us. While the design did change and there were some costs there, and they designed the shape of some of these cabinets were really a lot different, especially when you consider the Capcom Legacy Deluxe with that front nose on it. There's a lot different there. There's some stuff that was added. $500, $600. Okay. Then things started getting a little crazy because then the NBA Jam cabinet came out and it was a deluxe. And this is one of the first cabinets for the first 4-player cabinets. This is an old cabinet. This cabinet came out and this cabinet had everything in the 3/4 scale variant, right? You could get it with a stool. You can get it with a let-up deck protector. I mean, at the time, it had everything. And it came out, and it was, it was not $599 like we would maybe expect. I think maybe some of us really wanted $499, especially considering that this is one of the oldest games out there. that Arcade1up has ever developed, but there does have some NBA branding. It does have the 4-way control panel, so you're thinking, okay, maybe, right? Maybe this should be a little bit more. But it came out at $5.99. Then it jumped to $6.99. Then it settled back down to $6.49. Then in some cases there was a coupon, so you're paying $5.99 again. But right now, retail pricing is $6.49. This doesn't make any sense to me. This doesn't make any sense to me. $6.49, and this is where things started getting a little bit crazy. And the big complaint was, listen, this is an older cab. This is already a design you already have. I mean, this is you've basically got, the midway shape. This is like NFL Blitz, but without a riser. And it's got the 4-way, it's got the traditional joystick. So this isn't even those 59-way joysticks that we saw in Blitz. It wasn't even that, right? So right off the bat, you're like, this is just, I don't know. This just it just seems really weird. $6.49. And then it's also weird when you consider that this is also it's not limited to a lot of retailers. There's only 2 retailers that currently has this thing available for pre-order. Of course, our good buddies over at ShopHippo, they had this thing on lock at $6.49. You can also currently go to Walmart, and this is actually sold by Walmart. It's not sold by another third party on Walmart's website. This is actually sold by Walmart, but it's $6.99. So once again, if you're one of those people that have those gift cards and you've been saving them up from Walmart, or maybe you work at Walmart and you get an employee discount, you're still getting screwed because there's a $50 adder just because it's available at Walmart. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So this is where things started to get weird this year. And then now you're bringing out Time Crisis at $7.49. It just doesn't make any sense. And really, when you look at it, honestly, the majority of the releases were pretty much trending down. I mean, everything was staying under $6.99 because $6.99 was where the XL cabinets lived. And so if you're trying to make sense of all this, you're thinking, okay, well, Deluxe is just going to be the new form factor. They're just not going to have risers anymore. That's good. I think that's definitely a plus. And then you're going to keep that price point at $500, which is great. We're actually getting new cab shapes in the Deluxe Legacies, and they're still keeping that price point at $499. So that's great. So expectations are already pretty positive as far as price points were going. And then it looked like the only thing that was going to be really different and justify, or maybe not justify, but just suggest that $100 adder was going to be the fact that it was either a driving cab or a shooting cab, or maybe if it was a 4-player cab. That, in my mind, at least makes some sense. It's $100 more. Why? Well, it's a driving cab. Well, it's a shooting cab. Well, it's a 4-player. So at least you can tell yourself, you can justify it in some way and say, well, there's more stuff there. There's physically more stuff, right? Controllers, Send light guns, steering wheels, all that. You can at least tell yourself that. So I think that the expectations were kind of being set by Arcade1up themselves as far as these prices being fairly reasonable. The only thing that was really weird, the thing that kind of kicked this all off, if you think about it, was NBA Jam being so odd. And even $6.49, some people say, well, with the coupon, it gets you back down to that $5.99. That's fine. But then when you come out swinging with what we have going on now with Time Crisis, it really just doesn't make any sense. So I don't think you're wrong for expecting a cheaper price tag. If you look at what they released this year, there was nothing coming out there crazy. There was nothing really abnormal or out of whack. Even when they re-released, Big Buck Hunter, it still had the same price point as the other Raw Thrills title, which is Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious had a lit marquee, but it was the older style, And that's the biggest knock, I think, is that the fact that we don't have a lit marquee on Big Buck Hunter, and it's, the year 2023. It doesn't make any damn sense. There should never be a cabinet without a lit marquee. It's just asinine. But you would be forgiven if you're surprised by $7.49. So while we can talk about the fact that maybe $7.49 isn't crazy, it isn't, outside the realm of possibility of some people, I think it's way off the mark when you're talking about what we were accustomed to paying currently, not 2 years ago, current pricing today. Talking about inflation doesn't make any sense. If you talk about inflation, and I've seen those comments on my videos, if you're talking about inflation, why has it not affected anything else? Why has nothing else really been affected? Not when you think about it, not with new retail pricing being what you see right here. To me, it's greed. Greed on somebody's part. Is it Arcade1up greed? Is it the retailer greed? I don't really exactly know. But I think that most of us are under the impression, and I think this is probably reasonable to speculate and to assume, is that the retailers have a ton of influence on the actual prices themselves. They set the prices. The biggest, the biggest example of that really was NBA Jam. When you saw that price going up and down like crazy, it seemed like it was in direct response to what ShopHippo was saying. It was all over the place. It was nuts. That day was insane. It jumped $100, then it came back down to 50. It came back down $50, so it ended up landing on $649. It was just insane. It was all over the place, and it was just arbitrary. When you start off at $5.99, everybody expected that. Everybody was happy with that, and then you just started going crazy, which is why I think that this thing would have definitely sold like gangbusters at $5.99 if they could have maintained this price point minus what they're doing with NBA Jam. If they could have maintained $4.99 and $5.99, that would have been incredible. It would have been awesome. But I even said this in that unboxing video over on B Kong's channel. I said, unfortunately, I think where we're going to be at, guys, I think we're going to be at $6.99. Back to the old T2 pricing. And even that was blown out of the water. I mean, it's $50. It's $50. You can't just say it's only $50. $50 it's nothing to sneeze at. Now, it is at ShopHippo, and they do have free shipping. But what if that price point continues over to Best Buy? I'm sorry. ShopHippo has no tax. What if that price point carries over to Walmart and Best Buy where they do have sales tax? Or you're talking about another $40 on top of that. So right now, currently, yes, there's no sales tax as far as I can tell, as far as the pre-order is concerned. So it's, $749. But if this cabinet was $699, even with sales tax, you would still be about $8 cheaper, depending on where you live, depending on the sales tax of your state and all that. So you could still save some money, even though you had to pay sales tax. So at the end of the day, I think that the price of this cabinet has been artificially inflated. It really doesn't need to be that high for any reason. I think they're just sort of playing games with us at this point. And I hope we don't have a situation where it's $749 on ShopHippo, but then it's going to be $799 at Walmart. Well, then what are you going to do? Here's what I think you're going to do. You're going to only do one of two things, right? You're either going to go ahead and bite the bullet and buy it. And if you do that, that's fine. That's your choice. Or you're not going to buy it. I say, this is how we let them hear us. Remember the old hashtag get loud? I think that math still works. I think that still applies. Go ahead and get loud. Get loud in a different way, though. Not necessarily get loud on the internet and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. That's one way. But I think the best way, if you want to really be heard, you need to get loud and don't buy. Moving on to the next topic for tonight, Arcade1up claw machine. That's weird. That's kind of odd. But you know what's not weird or odd? And you know what's actually comforting? A $10 super chat from Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger. Thank you so much for swinging by, buddy, and dropping that sweet super chat love. What's up, my brother, with the fam today? Have a great show, buddy. Spend the time with the family. That's the most important thing. Thank you so much for stopping by, man. I really do appreciate you. $10 super chat from my friend, my buddy, my brother, Ezekiel. Can't wait to see you. I think you did say you're going to Cleveland, right? I really hope so. It'd be great to see you. Anyway, here you go, buddy. I got something special just for you.
Can't you do any better?
This is the Overlord!
Arcade1up claw machine. What is this all about? So let's talk about what happened. Basically, we had the Time Crisis, the Time Crisis release, the live stream, and the focus was all about the cabinet. We had Cyrus in there doing his thing, saying absolutely too much, but it was a good live stream. We got a lot of information. We found out about the price, which is the big shocker. It was great to see B and Michael B on the stream with him, participating in it. And we did get a lot of information. We also got some information that maybe was not intended, or maybe it was intended. Who actually knows if this was a plant, if this was real, or if this was just an oversight? But basically what we're talking about is the box that's behind Cyrus. You can see it's off to his right side, or his left side, our right side, bottom lower corner. As the live stream was going, he did also shift his camera so you couldn't see it anymore. So that was kind of weird, kind of disturbing. So that same day, now this was Tuesday, so later on that night, I had somebody message me and send me the pictures, and say, hey, Fox, what do you think about what's the box behind Cyrus? So I just replied, treasure machine. I looked at the end, the words there, and I said, it looks just like treasure machine. And I laughed because that's all the thought that I put into it. I'm gonna be honest with you. This happened. This was the same day I looked at it and I said treasure machine, and I laughed, ha ha ha, because I didn't really put it together. I'm not gonna sit here and take credit for something I didn't really do, but I did notice that right off the bat. I noticed treasure machine, but that was all I did, and we laughed about it, and we went on with our lives. But some of us dug a little bit deeper. Others in the community were really digging in, and they said, you know what? There's something to this. And then they started talking. I saw this on Twitter. I saw this, I guess X now, I don't know. And then some videos started coming out about what this could potentially be. And then I started having conversations in my own group, and we were all talking about this probably about the same time. And really, claw machine didn't really come to me. Treasure machine I saw on the box, but I didn't really put it together. Other people did. OTG made a video, Console Fanboy made a video, and they had some good thoughts. Of course, Console Fanboy, with a lot of profanity in his videos, but he was the one. If you're watching that video live, he was the one saying, "Hey, what is that box? What is that box?" In fact, Zohar could be the one to blame for him actually moving his camera, but he definitely called it out. He definitely noticed it. OTG followed that up with a pretty good video talking about what he thought it was. And he started connecting some dots. Eunice is a company that Arcade1up is working with, have worked with in the past to make their Pong, not the pub table, but the little tabletop thing. If you want to know more about that, check out those videos. But basically, the theory was that this was not necessarily a claw machine, a mechanical claw machine, but this was actually a touchscreen device. One of those, if you've seen these things, if you go to like a Dave & Buster's, one of these quote unquote arcades, there's a lot of these like mobile games that they've blown up and made into interactive arcades, for lack of a better term, arcade machines. They're not traditional arcade machines in any way, shape, or form. They're very generic. And they were thinking this was based on like Treasure Cove. This is like a digital claw machine. This is an actual mechanical claw machine, because that would be crazy. That would really be nuts. And to their credit, I absolutely see where they're coming from. A mechanical claw machine by Arcade1up, that's just ridiculous. That's dumb. That would never happen. No, it's true. It's mechanical. It is actually mechanical. Listen, it's a mechanical device they're making. I know, it's touchscreen device would definitely be the way that you think they would kind of cheapen out because of what they did with the Casino-cade. Hell, they even got rid of the lever. So it's just going to be a touch device. I don't think it is. I think it's going to be a mechanical. I'm really sure this is going to be a mechanical device. It's exactly the kind of thing when you think about it. I know maybe initially you don't think that's the case. They would never make something mechanical. They're a cardboard company. They're a plywood company. No, I think it's mechanical. Absolutely. Now, when you do just a quick search, when you type in treasure machine, you're going to see something like this. And I think this is what this is actually based on. Under the Sea Treasure Claw Machine. If you just think about that, Sea Treasure Claw Machine, if you took those 4 words, right, 2 on top, 2 on bottom, that would be the end of the box that you would have seen. Sea Treasure Machine. I think this is what this was based on. I think this could even be the name of the actual product they're talking about doing. But you're looking at that price tag. Fox, what the hell are you talking about? I think it's $2,300. What are you, insane? That's crazy. They would never do that. That's stupid. Fox, you're losing your mind. You're off the reservation. Bear with me, because I think what I'm about to show you is going to be that this is exactly, I think, where they would go. This is exactly the market that they're actually going to go after, because there is already a sub $1,000 claw machine market out there. Check this out. They already have these little claw machines. I mean, this is what, if you're talking about an Arcade1up branded claw machine, isn't this exactly what you would picture in your head? This little bitty thing that sits on top of like a countertop, and it's this is $400. So, and it's available now. If you want to get one, knock yourself out. But no, I think this is 100% going to be a mechanical device. It's going to be a mechanical claw machine. This right here proves the point that the mechanical stuff is already out there. They just need to partner with someone to get the servos and the claw mechanism, and they can make the shell. They can get, it's just a joystick and a button, right? It's really all this is. They partner with somebody else. They get an outside contractor to give them this 110 volt mini claw contraption. And then they do the same thing they did with the casino cade. They do the same thing they did with the casino cade. They just make a pedestal and put that on a pedestal. And there you go. There's your claw machine. Listen, I'm telling you, I think it's going to happen. I think it's actually going to happen. I think this is the stuff that they're working on behind the scenes. Mechanical, however cheap it may be, mechanical claw machines. So, what's next? Gumball machines? I probably shouldn't have said that. But yeah, gumball machines, candy dispensers. Is this what you want to see from Arcade1up? I mean, really, if it's a touchscreen claw machine or if it's mechanical, like I'm for sure it's mechanical. I think the only reason they haven't come out with this damn thing yet is because they're trying to make it even cheaper. Maybe they just make it a tabletop, a countertop, version. They're trying to think of a way to make this with less wood or something. I have no idea, but yeah, I think it's actually going to be a mechanical device, similar to what we're seeing right here. I think it's actually going to happen. But is this the focus that you want? Like I said, whether it's mechanical or touchscreen, is this really where you want to see them go? Is this really what you want to see them focusing on? Remember, prototypes and stuff they're working on outside, kind of in the back, that's where they think the future is. They think it's worth it to go ahead and build a prototype of a claw machine because they're trying to work on that, whittle that cost down so they can bring that to the public. They think that is going to sell. They think that is where their focus should be. Case in point is the casino cade. Now it's selling. I'm sure it's probably selling pretty good. Some of you were saying, hey, this looks great. Hey, I got the casino cade and it worked out. Everybody loved it. Everybody played it when they came over and it was awesome. And that's great. And, there's a point to be made about that. But is that where you want to see Arcade1up focusing on? Is that where you want to see home arcades going? Casino cades that are just based on cheap iPad apps? Claw machines? Even if it's mechanical? Do you really want to see an Arcade1up, mechanical claw machine? More importantly, is this where you want to see them focusing? I've said it. I think I've even said this before. Others have said it. Well, listen, go ahead and make these things. And I hope you sell a bunch of them because then you'll make what I want, No, listen, I hate to break it to you, but if this sells, they're going to make more of it. They're going to make more of the things that are selling. So if casino cades are knocking it out of the park, if claw machines are knocking it out of the park, if the official Arcade1up gunball machine sells like gangbusters, they're going to make that. Remember, at the end of the day, this is a toy company. They make toys. Some of them are a little nicer toys than other toys, but, some of the stuff was really freaking cheap. And if they're seeing an immediate return on stuff like this, they're going to continue to go down this path. And looking at what they're doing, looking at what R&D is focused on, that's where they're looking. That's where the company is going. That is their future. Is it the future that you want for the company? Remember when they had other stuff? Remember when we would see other pictures, other images of things that were being made? Remember when it was stuff like this? Remember when we saw, Double Dragon 2? A full-blown Double Dragon cabinet. That's pretty sick. That's awesome. What happened with that, Remember when they had the Sonic cabinet? Remember when they had the root beer tapper cabinet or the tapper cabinet that even had a fridge in it? Remember when they were making the Marvel pub table? That was actually, based on the, it was an existing PCB that they had, and it was a form factor that they had. But this thing had cup holders. I would probably give this a shot. I really thought that the pub table with the puzzle fighter, the gym fighter, whatever, that would have been sick. That would have sold. I think that actually would have sold really well. And come on, anytime you put cup holders on something, it makes it even that much more special. But the picture in the upper left, the 6-player X-Men cabinet that I built, I have heard this. This has been confirmed. I don't have any pictures of it. This has been confirmed by 2 separate Arcade1up employees. They did make a 6-player X-Men cabinet. They absolutely made one. And they made it about the same size as mine with the 27-inch monitor, which is exactly the way that I did the math. And that worked out for me. That's exactly what they made. Now, it didn't come to market, and that's okay, but their head was in that space. They were thinking about arcades that we want to make, arcades that we think people are going to buy. So when I see them trying stuff like this, whether it's track and field, whether it's Robotron, whether it's whatever, if we see them, even if they're not coming to market just quite yet, we see a little peek into their mind, where they think all this is going, right? If we start seeing stuff like that, I'm encouraged, I'm excited, because that is the stuff I want to see. I want to see more arcade cabinets. When I see stuff like this, or when I hear about stuff like this, when we're seeing boxes in the background, when we're speculating that maybe it's a touchscreen version of a freaking claw machine, or maybe it's a version like this, and then we couple that with the fact that they've already come out with casino cades that are just touchscreens and flashy lights, that may serve some people, but it's not going to scratch any itches I have. That is not where I want to see the company going. That's not where I want their focus to be at all. And I know that my view is just one view, but that's not why I got into this hobby. I wanted some really cool small recreations of cabinets, and I wanted to fill up my basement, my corner office, my spare bedroom, whatever. I wanted to fill that up with these little arcades. I don't necessarily want the ancillary stuff, the stuff on the side, kind of like the icing on the cake. It's just the sweet stuff. Claw machines are fine, if you've got an arcade. Casino cades are fine if you have an arcade. I want to fill up my room. I want to get full on the meat. Okay. I want to fill it up. I want to check the block, or check all the boxes of all the arcades I want before I worry about a gumball machine, or candy dispensers, Yes, Jay, the claw. Ooh, the claw's coming at you. Ooh, you're scared of the claw. Listen, if you look at these things in a vacuum, they're fine. It's fine. Okay. You're making a claw machine. Okay. Whatever. It is going to be mechanical. They're trying to get the cost down. Take it to the bank. You'll see it. I'm sure the Arcade1up gumball machine will be coming shortly thereafter, and that's fine. But is that where you want their focus to be? Because R&D is the future. That's where they're looking in the future. That's where they're going. That's where they're sinking their time. That's what they're putting their time and money and resources into. And that is not where I want to see them go. That's a ride I don't want to be a part of. But at the end of the day, it depends on what you want out of your game rooms. Do you want to see stuff like this? Or would you rather see stuff like, real arcade games? Maybe getting those games that are hard to emulate. Those games that are, maybe you're not super tech savvy. Maybe you don't have an extravagant MAME setup, Maybe you don't feel comfortable building your own cabs. That was going to be the purpose of Arcade1up, the 3/4 scale, the home arcade community. The industry was that right there. And I just don't see it. And I don't see that being the focus. And, some of that's really, really sad, only if you're looking at one arcade company. But rest assured, there are other home arcade companies out there that maybe will have a little bit of something to say about this. Rolling on into the last topic, and hopefully this is more uplifting. Listen, if you're into claw machines, if you're into casino cades, maybe you're happy. I'm not. Like I said, those things are fine, but they're icing on the cake. They're not that's not the meat. That's not the protein that we got to have to make our arcades. Fine on the side, but let's focus less on that stuff and focus on the stuff going after the licenses and going after stuff that really matters. And if all your hopes are tied up in Arcade1up, well, you might be a little disappointed. You might have cause for concern, but I think that the home arcade future is bright. And yes, those were the parting words of one John D. in a message he left with Console Kits. But I think that maybe there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. So I think last week I showed this. I didn't really talk about it, but our good friend Mike Svebeck, formerly of iArcade, has now. This is from LinkedIn, so this is not. I didn't steal. This is not unsolicited information. This is out there. This is public knowledge. This is from LinkedIn. He has joined AtGames as a products manager. This is somebody who knows a little bit about products. He's been part of a company from the ground up, putting it together, building it. He kind of cut his teeth in an industry that was very much fledgling, very much new. He's been there. He's done that. And now he's working with AtGames, a company that is pretty well established. And I'm excited to see what he does moving forward as a products manager. That's interesting. Products is not just, a thing, they've already got products, don't they? So what other products is he managing? I don't know. I have asked him. I have reached out. He hasn't said anything yet. I'll keep picking his brain. I'll do what I can. I'll hit him up as much as I can. And then if I find anything else that I can share with you, I'll definitely share it with you. I'm excited for him, though. I'm excited that Michael was able to kind of land on his feet with it and move on with a different company. I'm really excited that he's actually been able to stay in this, community, in this industry, because he's, experience is definitely a good thing. Another guy, John D, we know that he's no longer with Arcade1up. He is going to move on and do something else. What is he going to do? I don't know. I'm not sure. I really don't have any idea. But I'm excited to see where life takes him. I can't imagine he's going to completely just withdraw. I'm sure he's doing well, but probably not good enough to retire. So where's he going to go? Who knows? He could end up with that games. He could end up being an independent contractor, doing his own thing. He could start his own company. He could buy iArcade and resurrect that, Phoenix rising from the ashes and make up something totally different, something new. But I don't think that his impact on this little industry, this little, community is gone completely. I think that maybe he's, still got a little bit of clout. And I think licensing, as we know, is the big thing. So what could somebody like that bring to another company? I think a lot. But one thing I did say about his leaving Arcade1up that I really didn't like. Now, listen, John does whatever he does, right? He rubs some people the wrong way. I get that. Nobody is 100% politically correct all the time, and he wasn't, right? But I think that he had a passion for the games. And I think that if you remove that assumed passion for games, I don't think 100% of it has left Arcade1up, but some of it has. And if you couple that with the fact that we're getting leaks about claw machines, I think maybe their focus isn't exactly where we want them to be. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the home arcade community is completely dead. It's destroyed. I don't think that it's destroyed at all. I think this could actually be some of the best stuff happening. I know it was difficult to see iArcade die. That kind of sucked. Just when they were kind of ramping up, they succumbed, right? They folded. But then we see other people have made their way to other places, At Games being one example. But then we also see these weird kind of companies popping up. I mean, come on, GameStop is making arcade machines now, arcade cabinets now. That tells me that these companies see a future with home arcades. If they're willing to take a chance and sell, I mean, listen, this is like the opposite of where the industry is going. Games in general. It used to be you bought a console, then you bought all the extra controllers, then you bought all the ancillary stuff, all the stands and all the console coolers, and you had all the other stuff, and then you bought the games themselves, physical games. But then all this stuff began to die. There were no more cables and chargers and all this, and this stuff started to dwindle away, and then everything went digital, and so there was less to sell. Companies like GameStop exist to sell you something. And they're not going to make a lot of money just on digital downloads. They need to physically sell you things. And if the market's running dry with physical copies of games that they can't then resell, the company's going to go under. So they see the 3/4 scale market, the home arcade market, as a legit market, and they're investing in it. So they're actually, I know it's silly looking, but think about it. GameStop is selling arcade machines. They're selling multicades. Think about that. At Games, a company that you think would just kind of, at this point, they only have a few offerings. They're done. They're dead. They're just doing it. They're investing. They're doubling down. Not only are they welcoming new employees like, our good buddy Michael, but close that. Sorry, kill that. But they're also reinvesting in their products. They're bringing us 4K gaming. Now, that's going to be really important for the VPN market, for their VPN. And they're redesigning it, different legs, different shape of the body, making it more arcade accurate or pinball accurate, for lack of a better term, I guess. But they're also bringing that to retro arcade gaming that really doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense unless you consider the 16:9 aspect ratio of their At Games Legends Ultimate. They can play modern games on there. So they're pushing the industry forward. They're trying to encompass and include more games. They're pushing forward. They're not backing off. So what else is out there? I mean, this is definitely something that is building up steam. I think it's a big bucket of stuff, physical stuff to sell us, and that's what they want us to, that's what they need to do. These companies are going to fold. They're going to fail. They're going to fall apart if they don't have something physical to sell us. If the future is digital, well, then the future for some of these companies is dead. But it's not just the home arcade community that I'm talking about, like the original, like the standard players. iArcade's gone. You still got At Games. You still got Arcade1up. if Arcade1up isn't doing exactly what you want, I don't think that's cause for too much concern. It is in the short term, but not in the long term. Ad games, I think, is going to do a lot. Next year, I think is going to be really big for ad games. The year after could be incredible for ad games if things kind of go the way some of us in the industry think that it's going to go. But let's not forget a couple massive players, huge players, the big dogs. They're still out there. They haven't even dipped their toe in here in this market yet. I'm talking about companies like Sega. Sega, if you go to SegaArcade.com, they have a complete, they're still very much focused on the arcade industry, the Sega Amusements for All. If you go to the website, they have a ton of stuff. If you've gone to a Dave & Buster's, Sega is still a huge player on the amusement side of things. They are very much invested in big hardware, big games, and they also have some big licenses. They got some Jurassic Park stuff going on. They have a lot of big licenses making these huge games, and they're still actively doing this, actively producing it. It's not just Raw Thrills. It's these Sega too, Sega proper. Now, when you think about Sega and you think about arcades, man, there sure is a ton of games that they haven't re-released, right? I mean, look at what Arcade1up has done with Sega. It's been very limited. The big hitters, the 90s titles are still out there, and they haven't been made. What if Sega just decides, you know what? We think that there's something to this. We think that there's something going on in this home arcade space. We think that maybe we could put together something that's on a 3/4 scale, and maybe it's $1,000 plus. But if we let them know, hey, this is Sega proper, people are willing to pay. Listen, I think I don't think they sold a lot of them, but people bought the KI Pro at $1,000. It sold. Didn't sell a ton, but it did sell. Imagine if Sega decided to come out. I mean, listen, there's no Sega Model 2 or 3 emulators, but Sega could do it. What if Sega came out with this stuff? I mean, yeah, I see you in the chat. Crazy Taxi, anybody? Come on. I mean, Star Wars Trilogy? I mean, but done by Sega? In a way, if they could bring us something that was like 1,000, even if it was 1,200, but it's made by Sega, not Arcade1up, little cabinet, 17, maybe 19-inch monitors, there's something there. I think there's something there. And then let's not forget about the question, the super chat that I had earlier, Nintendo. There's no way Arcade1up is going to get Nintendo or Ad Games or anybody else. They may have a shot with Sega potentially, but Nintendo is going to be the holdout. I don't think anybody will ever get Nintendo. What happens when Nintendo decides, you know what? We want to make some money too. Wow. GameStop is in this 3/4 scale home arcade market. This little company called Arcade1up is doing it. At Games, the company that should have been dead years ago, making those crappy little systems. Now they're making some real money. They're bringing 4K gaming to the masses. How long until the big guys decide to give it a shot, to give it a try? And there, I see everybody in the chat talking about Soul Calibur, Daytona, Crazy Taxi, Virtua Fighter. I mean, there are a ton of games out there that the big companies could see the potential sales in, and they could absolutely give it a shot, especially with Nintendo. They could just make a play choice. And then it's got Wi-Fi built in, and you can just download games directly from their store. They could incorporate that in their online store now, the eShop now. And this could be just another device. They're losing some sales if they're going all digital. They're losing some sales there. The money market's kind of drying up. There's less things to sell to consumers. This could be, the next couple of years could be a real big turning point. I don't think the home arcade, community is dead. I don't think the home arcade market is dead or drying up yet. I think that we were kind of at a bottleneck with just Arcade1up. And I think at this point, we're actually kind of expanding. So this could be like the contract, constriction. I've lost all the words. The words that are coming out of my mouth are not right. This could be the contraction before the expansion, where it just explodes. It begins to kind of fall into itself before it explodes. And then it gives birth to a whole universe of home arcade offerings. And that I think is something to be positive about. And yeah, I think the future may be so bright, you got to wear shades. Would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Unfortunately, it is that time to go ahead and wrap it up. It is another episode in the can. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel and participating in the chat. But most importantly, participating in the poll, the chat poll. Every week we have the poll question. This week it was in direct response to the craziness that was Arcade1up demanding $749 for their Time Crisis cabinet. So if you haven't voted yet, the time is now. We just have a few more seconds. Jump in and answer that poll question. It's at the top of the chat. And here is the simple question. What is the most you would pay for your favorite game as an Arcade1up 3/4 scale cabinet? If they made your favorite game, whether it has come out already or if they haven't made it yet, if they made your favorite game, what is the most you would pay for a 3/4 scale version of it? You know, all the standard Arcade1up stuff, 17-inch monitor, you know, the wood is only going to be so tall, all that. Their controls, how much would you pay? 283 votes. Awesome, guys. We didn't quite hit 300, but that's okay. I'll let you slide. Awesome. Great participation. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And remember, if you didn't have a chance to vote in the live poll, when you're watching this on the replay, vote in the chat. Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat, or in the comment section. If you're watching this on the replay, I really appreciate the feedback. It is absolutely helpful for the channel. Let's go ahead and shut it down now. 284 votes. Thank you so much, everybody, once again for voting in the poll. And here are the results. Coming in at number 4, last place, with actually 9% of the total, was $799. Some of you are so excited about your favorite game that you would pay $800. And those are probably the people that are like me. You haven't had your favorite game come out yet. So you're like, just make it. Make it. I'll pay $800. So 9% voted for $800. 14% said I would pay $699 for my favorite game made by Arcade1up in the 3/4 scale. Coming in at second place, this was very, very close. Second and first place they're separated by only 2%. Coming in at second place is $599. 37% of you said, yeah, I'd pay $600 for my favorite game. Yeah, $600. That's where I'm pretty happy with that. 37%. That's not a small percentage, but the biggest percentage was 39%. And that's everybody saying, hey, listen, this is the number one, $500. You're like, listen, I'm only paying $500. If they come out with my favorite game and it's $700, I'm going to wait till that price point falls and I'll pick it up for $500. And a lot of you are pretty disciplined. You're pretty smart. Yeah, so there you go. So those are the results. Everybody, thank you so much for voting in the poll and hanging out with me. I hope you have a great week. Don't work too hard. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will see all of you next time. Peace.